Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rhode Island State House for GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining in now for the second segment. We'd like to thank leader Joe Shikarchi. We'd like to thank Patricia Serpa and June Speakman for the first segment. But now I'd like to thank Representative Carol McEntee. Thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.
Of course, we've followed the issue closely, as have a lot of Rhode Islanders, as to where things stand with legislation to address the statute of limitations for sex offenses and how far it can go back. So we talked about this last year, a lot of support this summer for this piece of legislation, and very heart-wrenching testimony in the House behind this bill. So let's talk a little bit about what we heard and what you think the prospects are for this moving forward.
Oh, I'm very positive about the outcome of this bill, and we had some heart-wrenching testimony as well in the Senate. There were two new priests that were named in that hearing. I'm sure if you were listening, you would have heard the names. Also, there's been a response from the church, which is continually, the bill is unconstitutional and won't help victims or healing, which I totally disagree with. And what we're doing is we're setting procedural guidelines. We're increasing the statute of limitations to 35 years for childhood sexual abuse, with a 7-year look back for when you knew or should have known, or for repressed memory. And also we have a window of 3 years for those persons who are already time barred because of their statute of limitations.
And there's some of the changes that were made to the legislation last year. Let's talk a little bit about what's different from 18 to 19.
Oh, it's a lot different. Last year was just a basic bill of no statute of limitations, which we did not get very far with. But I had amended the bill several times at the end of last year, and it was close to what we're doing now. But I think we have a better bill. In hindsight, the time that we have had to deal with this bill has made it a better legislation, and we've got more victims and more people coming forward to support it.
And you sat down pretty early on in the session. You sat down multiple times with the speaker.
Yes, I have.
Considering what had happened at that sort of the 11th hour last year when things fell through. Do you think that there's a solid base now this year for this to be able to move forward?
Oh, absolutely. The speaker has spoken to me several times about his support for the legislation. He wants to do the right thing. And also I have 58 co-sponsors out of 75 on this bill. Okay. And in the Senate, there's 29 out of 38. So I think that that's a mandate from both the House and the Senate. And in my view, it will pass. I'm willing to negotiate just a tad, not too much. But, I'm willing to hear whatever the problems people seem to say there might be with the bill, but I think I've got the green light. I'm very positive about it.
Well, appreciate your taking the time to join us. I know we've been trying to catch you. You're so busy, but to let folks know again about what the changes are, what the bill looks like this year, and of course the testimony that we've heard both on the House and Senate side, and you're optimistic for its potential.
Well, it would be an absolute disgrace if we did nothing in light of everything we know at this particular time. It's a global issue, it's a national issue, it's a state issue. And we need to help the victims and do whatever we can to make them whole.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come on. Representative McEntee will continue to follow the issue.
Representative Carol Hagan McEntee. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you so much. We'll talk soon.